Good morning everyone. Today we are going to start with the first story, Kabuliwallah, written by Rabindranath Tagore. I hope you all must be aware about this great personality Rabindranath Tagore, who he was. Let me just tell you a little bit about this person. The first thing, the very well known that he wrote a national anthem. But besides India's national anthem, he also wrote one another country's national anthem, that is Bangladesh. So he is one of very few personalities who wrote national anthem for two nations. This was the one thing, and second, he was a great poet and dramatist who wrote so many famous plays, dramas that he wrote in his own language, that is Bengali. He also has written novels and short stories. And this story that we are going to discuss today, that is Kabuliwallah, is one of so many famous stories of Rabindranath Tagore. Now the title is Kabuliwallah. What is Kabuliwallah? Why it has been put at the center of the story, that we need to understand today. But before listening to this lecture, I would suggest you just go through the story by your own, so that you can make a fair idea what I am going to discuss today in this lecture. So let's start about this story. Actually, this story is all about the discrimination or gaps between two different status of society. These status can be based on race, religion, color, caste. As you all might be well aware of how the lower caste people have been treated by the upper caste people. There is some kind of gap between these two status. One is upper strata and the second one is lower strata. And uh, you often have noticed or observed that these distinctions, these kind of discriminations are well rooted in adults only, the grown up man, and you will not find any kind of such things, such discrimination based on these race, religion, color and caste in childhood. You all are very well aware of that children don't care about things. They don't care whether the friend of them is of fair complexion or dark complexion, whether he belongs to upper caste or lower caste. They just make friends by their own choices. They don't uh, take care of such foolish things. They don't matter at all to them. So this story is all about it, how a child that belongs to a upper caste makes friendship with a person that belongs to lower caste. The Kabuliwala person whose name has been revealed after the middle of the chapter, that is Rahmun. We have been told that how the daughter of 5-year-old, just 5-year-old daughter of the writer of this story, that is Rabindranath Tagore, makes friendship with this street vendor, that is Ramun. In the very beginning, she was just a little bit scared of him. Why she was scared? That is a matter of concern. That is a matter of discussion. What is that in her mind, that she was scared of a stranger? She wanted to talk to him, but she can't. She is feeling scary. Why? What are the things that have been deep rooted in her mind, what she has been told or learned by her parents? Even if we talk about the little girl's name is Mini, even in this story, that has her mother we have been told that her mother is also little bit worried about their her friendship with Ramun. Why it is with girls, the ladies of that family, the family of the author Rabindranath Tagore, that they are very much worried about a stranger, about a street vendor, about a person from lower society, that we have to think over. Why? What are the things? As you will find out that Rabindranath Tagore is not very much worried about their relationship, Minnie and Ramune, as there is a very big gap between there is, she is just 5 years old and Ramun is a very older to her. As in the end of the story, you will find out that Ramun has a daughter that has been living in his home place, that is Kabul, a capital of Afghanistan. He belongs to Kabul, and that's why he has been called, or that's why he has been christened in this story as Kabuliwallah, the people from Kabul, the people from Afghanistan's mountains. And a little bit description about the character of Minnie has been told that she is a very much talkative person. As in the just in the beginning of story, we have been shown that how she moves from one thing to another just and not listen to anybody. In the very beginning, she asks one thing from her father, and just before the answer came from another side, she moves to the next question and then to the next question. She doesn't give any chance to another person to reply, but builds a very good camaraderie or bondage between this person. I don't know, or we are not being told that what was the thing that makes their friendship very strong, but somehow they got managed to talk to each other. Meaning she wanted to talk to anybody, or she wanted a friend in her life, and Ram, that we will get to know in the end of the story, that he felt some kind of nostalgic because he was living away from his home. His home was in Kabul, Afghanistan. Now, for the sake of trade, just for the sake of money, he comes to Calcutta. He comes to Rabindranath Tagore's place to earn some money, to have his livelihood, so that he can send some money back to his family. So this was the reason why he was wandering from one country to another, just for the sake of livelihood. Now the problem that has been shown or highlighted in the story is the discrimination, how it is very much prevalent in elder people, in grown up men and women, and how it is very much vague or very much unclear to the children, how children don't care about such foolish things, they don't even matter at all. So these are the things that you have to focus while reading this story. So I again suggest you to first read this story by your own, and you will better get some idea about the story. Now this is all about the relationship of a little child that belongs to upper class with the person, an elder person who is very much elder to that child, that just belongs to a lower strata of the society. And then you will find what are the problems they face and what are the things that they have to overcome, or fear, how she overcomes her fear for the stranger. Now if I talk about some questions, that tricky questions. First question is, what characteristic feature of Minnie stands out in the opening lines of the story? In the very beginning of the story, you have been told about the Minnie, what kind of girl she is, that you have to put in this question, under this question. Do you think this helps in endearing her to Kabuliwallah? This characteristic of Mini that has been explained in the very beginning of chapter, was it the only reason that she could make friendship with Ramun? That you have to understand, and just you have to explain this thing in this first question. Second question, describe Mini's mother. Here you have to describe Mini's mother characteristic, which has not been explained very directly in this chapter, but you have to read between the lines so that you can find what kind of mother she was. You can just focus on the lines where her mother says that beware of that person, beware of Kabuliwallah, his friendship is not good for our daughter. From this point you can get some idea about the characteristic of Mini's mother. Next question is, how does Mini overcome her fear of the Kabuliwallah and become friendly with him? That you will find out after reading the story. Next, when the Kabuliwallah returns from jail, Mini's father initially refuses him permission to see him. Now in the end of the story, you will find out that Ramun, the Kabuliwallah, was sentenced to imprisonment for something because he had the quarrel with some of his fellow men because of some issues. Now when he comes back from jail and he wanted to see Mini after 8 years, what kind of changes he feels, and why Rabindranath Tagore refuses him to see his daughter? What are the things, what was he scared of? Why was not letting him to see his daughter Mini? That you have to put it. Later he changes his mind. What prompts him to do so? But after he does something very touching, that his father gets ready to arrange a meeting of both. What was that thing? That you have to put under this question. And the next question, where does the story take place? Where does all this story take place? Where is this happening, all the things? That you have to find out the name of the place. And next, what is Mini's father? What is the profession of Mini's father? What does he do in this story? He is acting in the backside, but he is doing something else also in the story. In the middle of the story, when Mini approaches her father, he was doing something. What was he doing? Only then you will find out what was the profession of her father. Which country does the Kabuliwallah come from? His name is taken just because of his place Kabul. That's why he has been called Kabuliwallah. What is the Kabuliwallah's interpretation of father-in-law's house? The main thing, the prime thing which led to their conversation was the very basic question that Ramun often asked her, that are you going to father-in-law's home? Now here is the thing, father-in-law's home. This has been used as a metaphor or synonym for something, that is jail. Why it is considered as equal with the jail? That you have to think from the perspective of a girl child that has to move from her own home to somebody else's home after getting married. And what are the problem the girl faces after marriage? This you can put in this relationship, father-in-law's home and jail. Why does Mini's father limit some of the wedding expenses? When Ramun comes back from jail, there was some ceremony going on in Mini's home that was for her marriage, and her father has thought to conduct so many ceremonies, but when he sees Ramun at the wedding and he gets overwhelmed by the emotions, then he thinks that I should give some money to Ramun so that he can also go back to his country and meet his daughter. Just because he has to give some money to him, so he has to curtail some expenses from the wedding thing. That's why it's some of the expenses. Next, what is the Kabuliwallah story? Now here you have to tell something or the things uh, that you feel interesting about the story, that you have to put under this question. Next, Minnie is a child when she meets the Kabuliwallah for the first time. However, they form a deep bond. When the first time Minnie meets someone, she was just 5 years old, and only at that time they were able to make a good relationship with each other. Think Minnie was a child, and Ramun, he has a child of Minnie's age. That's why they were able to make a good bond with each other. The narrator of the story stays in the background. The narrator who is telling the story is the author. He is not coming on the stage. He is just telling us about the story by remaining backside, by remaining backstage. However, through his action we form a picture of him, but still he is giving some of his viewpoints in the story, from where we have to make some picture about the author. Describe his character as seen through his observations and actions. What does he observe? When Minnie's mother says that just beware of the Kabuliwallah, then Rabindranath Tagore says that no, there is nothing to worry about. And at last, when he gives some money to Raman so that he could go back to his own country, from these things, what do you opine about the author? This thing you have to put here. And the last question is, write an essay on the character of the Kabuliwallah. Final, our central character, the protagonist of the story, Ramun, you have to tell about this person. What do you think about this person? What kind of person he is? What you can tell about his by considering his emotions, by considering his relationship, this little child, how he always offer nuts and grapes and other things as a gift to Minnie, just for the sake of relationship, the bonding they had created meanwhile. So this was all about our first story, and that's all. And if you still find any doubts, or if you have any queries, just ask me. Then we shall stop now. We will see you in the next class. Until then, take care, study hard, bye.